Hello everyone, I'm Joe Daler. Today I have a presentation on Clash of Clans techniques. Alright, so starting from the beginning. In this lecture, the assumed goal is to level up your town hall, because in order to level up your town hall, you're going through a lot of different processes first. So I'll start by highlighting some things. What you definitely want to do before leveling up your town hall is, one, you want to make sure you have all the new items. Some of the times, your town hall won't allow you to level up if you don't have all the new items, but you want to make sure that you have them. Next, you want to make sure that you have most, if not all, of the buildings you have fully upgraded. It makes starting really easy, and you don't have to backtrack and go back to upgrading things that should have been upgraded, like level 6 archer towers when you're a level 10 hound hall. And then you can also, before you upgrade, consider upgrading your troops or spells using the research facility. That's just something you can do. It'll make you have an easier time in the next fighting bracket. 4 is, it's nice to have a large amount of elixir and gold piled up during and after, or right before and during your town hall upgrading, so that way you can really just jump in with both feet and start moving with the next stuff. So brings us to the next slide. So during upgrading your town hall, so you've presumably done all the things in the last slide. Your town hall is upgrading. Really, your main priority is just to get as much elixir and gold as quickly as you can, because your town hall time, it does get a lot longer as you go on, like even sometimes 12 days and more. But that's just at higher ranks. You really just want to try and get a lot of money so you can begin upgrading as soon as you get to the next level. I would recommend attacking using the revenge button in the defense logs. So if you go to your defense logs, there's a button that says revenge. You can do that, and it will allow you to view someone who's attacked you's base, and you can infinitely click in and out of that, so you don't have to do it any of the times, and it doesn't cost any gold to do. And that way you can click in, check, and then make a specific army custom to defeating that base. And after that, because it's a revenge, they can't attack you. They can't use their own revenge logs to get you. So there's a little strategy in there. So newly upgraded town hall. What do I do first? Well. You may be unsure of what the first action you should take is after having upgraded your town hall. With my recommendations, although both will be done by the time you upgrade again, there's two different ways. You can start with expanding your army or expanding your base. So expanding your army basically consists of having a lot of money piled up first. That's important for this one. But as soon as it's upgraded, the first thing you do is you upgrade your barracks or your dark barracks, whatever troop you want first. So that way you can have the new type of troop, and that'll really help you out. It'll put you up. It'll make fighting easier, faster, and it's fun because, you get a new troop. It's fun to play around with. So you do that. First, you want to upgrade your barracks or dark barracks, and then buy new army camps. Buying new army camps is much more efficient than upgrading army camps. So if you have the availability to buy an army camp, you can get a lot out of that. A lot more troop storage. You can also upgrade spells, or your spell or dark spell factory. That'll give you new spells. Normally it's a better idea to upgrade your barracks first, because barracks is something you can use all the time, and there's not usually like a required upgrade amount before they get good. And then opting for this will put you ahead with the number of powerful troops you have. So then the other one is base expansion. So the first way to go about base expansion is the first step is to buy everything you can. You want to start with purchasing pretty much in this order because it's about how long it takes to build. Everything is pretty quick when they're first level, but how long it takes to build and what's important. So you really want to start with your walls just because they're cheap, it builds instantly, and you'll just have them there even if they're just level 1 walls. It's nice to have, and you can start planning how you might put things in. Then additionally, you'll want to do army camps because, again, that's a really big boost to your stuff. It'll really help you offensively. And then you want to do either defenses or collectors. Normally, this is just trying to buy everything at once before you majorly upgrade things, by the way. So normally I would start with defenses just because, you'll have level 1 defenses, but everything's pretty quick to build, so you should be able to do all of these relatively quickly. And then the goal is to, upgrade things in a certain order after, but we'll talk about that on the next slide. So the next slide brings us to, I've got all the new stuff, but what now? Well, you silly lubber, it's time to start upgrading. You want to start upgrading as fast as possible, basically, preferably in this order. It's just an order meant to help you out in a few different ways, but starting with defenses can really help you just get that extra stretch out of the things you're buying, because they might be bad when you first purchase them, but if you can level them up, the closer you can get them to your current defenses, the better chance you'll have at defending your base. In the early stages, there will be, a fair amount of high percentage raids against you because you have all these low level and exposed things, so getting defenses helps to mitigate that. So then you want to do collectors so you can start making capital back on what you've put out to upgrade these defenses. And then after that is, I'll talk about walls later, but usually army camps, your newest ones, because they jump up faster in the earlier upgrades. And then pretty much everything else you can start upgrading after that. You really just want to focus on defenses and collectors and army camps. Walls is a different thing because walls don't necessarily have to be the level they're supposed to be max, but if you get too far behind in your wall level, it's really going to come back to bite you. So you really want to pay attention to that and don't lag too far behind your max wall level. Stopping upgrading defenses in favor of collectors is okay, provided that they're at least level 5. Because around level 5, the upgrade time starts to vary and it gets a lot longer. So you want to have them at least at level 5 so you can have them do something at least semi-effective and not just be like one cannonball shot before they're wiped out. So that leads us to the next slide. I'm in the rhythm. What now? So, are you doing your best raising your defenses and collectors to match the rest of the set? Have you found a rhythm between the attacking and upgrading? Well, I'm happy for you. In my opinion, the push from the newly upgraded to reaching your last max upgrade level or your previous max upgrade level, so what everything else is upgraded to, is probably the most fun part because you're getting all these new weapons, you're getting a lot more expansive, and new techniques come into play. I think this is a really enjoyable time to play. And then, so next slide is, so they're all your new things are on par with your last Town Hall upgrade. Well, that's nice. Do you go beyond that? Yes, it's pretty much just a loop from the beginning now. You want to try and push your mainly your defenses up to the max level, but you want to start to work everything up to the max level. It's really up to you what you choose to do here because you have everything. By this point, everything should be fairly upgraded and you know what its capabilities are, what its strong points are, and you should start to figure out or have figured out what your base looks like with these new additions. So then you're just starting to push to the next upgrade again. And that is usually the longest stretch, which is, a little unfortunate, but things start to get very expensive as you go on. So next slide. So attacking strategies. The problem with attacking strategy is there's no one answer, and each couple levels totally changes the fighting technique. So here's some general notes. Wizards are always your friend. You get them early on, and they only get better as long as you upgrade them with your own growth. Upgrading them in the Spell Factory is really nice, and it's really beneficial. Wizards get super good and are good from the beginning and carry out through the rest of the game being really good as long as you upgrade them. Some things just become unusable, unfortunately, troops-wise. Mainly archers, goblins, and giants. Archers are too weak to do anything, and they don't have the range for anything. Goblins are just too weak and too specific. They're pretty impractical. And then giants, when you get really high-level giants, I do actually see people use them. They can be used. You'll usually be using a bunch of them at one time. But more often than not, there's a better option. Like in the later stages, you get golems of two types, and those pretty much replace them. They're defense, attacking, buff, high health people. So then take to the air. So there's quite a few different progressions through attacking in the air, but overall, dragons rule the skies. It's just the way it is. They're really good, and upgrading them makes them just even better. They have a counterpart, the Electro Dragon, which you get at Town Hall 11. Electro Dragon is really good. If I were to note about Electro Dragon, he's a lot slower, costs more, but does a lot more damage. But it's a different type of troop than the dragon in the way that its attacking is different. So you want to use those less than you use regular dragons once you get them. Additionally, balloons attack balloons like the skeleton ones in the early stages before probably Town Hall 9, probably Town Hall 8 and before that, are really good at high upgrade. Once you change the balloon color from red to black, I don't remember what number that is specifically, but they get really good. You'll see people using those on you probably. So you really want to use your Barbarian King, your Archer Queen, and your Grand Wizard. And I believe there's another one now, the Royal Champion, but I don't think you get that till level 14, so that's kind of a no-go for any of us at our point. They sort of start out bad, but they get really good the more you upgrade them. It's something people say is that as soon as you get the Archer Queen, stop upgrading the Barbarian King and start pouring your money into the Archer Queen, and that's actually true. She's a lot more effective than the Barbarian King and just generally a better troop. I wouldn't say entirely cold turkey, cut off using him, but it's a different sort of thing. He's not quite as good. And the Grand Wizard, his abilities start out not that good, but if you have a lot of regular elixir, you can turn him into a pretty good healing troop. So then, next up would be try digging. So miners are excellent troops in the late game because they avoid some traps, most defenses, and things like that, because they go under walls and stuff and they dig to the next area. So they can't be hit when they're underground. They can only be hit when they pop up. So if you have healing spells, they work really well together. Note that. And then we have a second one. So spells are crucial. They really help your game. The problem is there's some that are just bad, some that take a while to get good, and some that are really good. I think in that order, some that are bad is probably Haste Spell. It's cheap. You get it from the Dark Factory, but it's just not quite that good. Then some that get better, Freeze and Electro, like the Lightning Strike, get way better. Like they might be, pretty okay, usable at least, but they have short times and they don't deal, high enough amounts of whatever they're trying to accomplish, and they get a lot better the more you upgrade them. And then the really good ones are always stuff like Health and Rage. They're just super helpful. They put out a lot of health or rage. It speeds up your troops basically with rage and makes them do more damage. So there's a lot of stuff you can work there. and upgrading them will really only make them greater. So I already touched on freeze spells. You know, it takes a while to get them upgraded, around 5 till it gets to 2.5 seconds of freeze. And then some other things to note is if you have the troops, don't skimp. You got to use them. If they're in your deck and you know you're not going to blatantly lose, like you put out a 1 or 2 troops and just absolutely defeated, you want to go all in. Even if it seems a little bleak, you really just want to use the full amount in your hand. You want to remember to attack, only attack bases where you're getting more elixir than you spent on your troops, because then you know you can actually profit. Unless you're going for gold and you're getting like a lot of gold, you know, that's a whole nother thing. But you want to only attack bases where it's going to be effective and where you're going to actually profit out of it. And so don't be afraid of new defenses, but don't attack anyone too high above you. New defenses, you should at least try and attack them every now and then, because you know it'll be a marker of your progress. You'll start to understand how they work, especially as you get them. But if for some reason someone's base is really high above yours and it's in your bracket, it's not always a good choice to attack them unless they really, really look bad, because there's a lot of hidden things and such and better traps that will just wipe you out. But generally, don't be afraid of attacking people who look better than you. So next up is defending and, you know, base building. So again, with building, I can't give you a lot of specifics because it changes a lot throughout the game. It changes a lot, especially with the troops attacking them. So you want to definitely remember to protect your resources, your storage vaults, more than your collectors, because collectors can hold a lot, but if you're collecting them regularly, it won't be staying in them. It'll be going into your storages. So you don't want to be greedy. If you need to put your collectors outside of your walls, do it, because another point is that if you put your defenses outside of your walls, they're effectively useless. They can be destroyed a lot faster, a lot easier, and they just don't pose very much of a threat. So there's all that. And then you want to always put your town hall in the center of your base. It's not 2013. Farming doesn't work anymore. It's not like that. Don't even consider putting it anywhere else. Put it in the center or slightly offset if you get the Eagle artillery. But that's, you know, something you'll discover when you get there. This goes for attacking and defending. Recognize specific anti-troop patterns. For example, like if a certain troop is really making you lose, then you can try and build things that will trip them up or that will hurt them before they can deal a lot of damage to you. The main example I think of is anti-Electro Dragon bases. You'll start to see those when you're higher up, 11, 12, 13, you know, probably around 10 or 11 actually. You'll start to see those because Electro Dragons really are powerful troops, and the way they work is they're slow, but they shoot out a shock and it travels through the next 4 or 5 connected buildings. So people will build around them and like separate them so it can't jump from building to building. And that works. It's just you got to do it very specifically. Another thing you want to do is try to avoid like a ring building, which is pretty much when you build 2 or 3 levels of fully connected walls, which is kind of depicted here. This is actually a different type of base because of all the traps in here, but still, generally, you don't want to do this because if somebody gets in here, then they can just go all the way around and destroy everything in the path. So you really don't want to do that. And then, like I said about the walls earlier, you want to upgrade them. It's okay if they're a little below your max level, but you don't want to lag too far behind because, I mean, if you're running like a Town Hall 11 with level 6 walls, people are just going to go straight through them. You're screwed. And another thing I just thought of is another troop that's not worth using is the wall bomber like the skeleton, he's not good. Some people use him really late in the game when they have him super upgraded, but most people by then will use wall breaking spells and just use 4 of those, and it will destroy any wall. So, you know, there's a method to the madness. So other, you know, participate in clan wars. They're fun and they have good rewards. And then participate in clan games when they're in season. It'll pop up on the side of your map, and they give really good rewards. It's individual things that you get to do, like accomplishments, but then at the end, the clan's total is pooled, and you get certain rewards based on them. And the rewards are actually really good. And then, you know, donate troops. Don't be rude. Spread the love. All right. Good luck, fellas. Have fun, and remember, the real reward is the friends you make along the way. Question?
Yes, so I have 2 questions. My first one, so in my specific army I'm currently using, I have 2 spaces extra with the build I'm using, so I usually put 2 archers in there. Is there something you would recommend doing instead, since you were trashing on archers, or do you think that with 2 spots it doesn't matter?
I would probably do 2 barbarians, because I mean, at that point, you know, 2 troops doesn't really matter, but barbarians do have a lot more health, and one of the things that you're going to be doing is archers are, you know, definitively bad. Even, you know, you upgrade them to level 5 or 6, so they get better, but barbarians are someone you're going to carry with you the entire time. You're going to keep upgrading them, and they're going to get a lot better. So even just having 1 or 2 is going to be a lot stronger than 2 archers. Damage output is also higher.
And you think that that's worthwhile over like 1 minion?
1 minion? Yeah, minions are another one that aren't really very good.
Okay. Alright, so my other question is defenses. So are certain defenses more of a priority than other defenses? Like immediately after I upgrade Town Hall, I start upgrading defenses. What should I focus on first?
Typically, I would start upgrading. Well, anything new is going to be a lot more expensive to upgrade, so you might not be able to do those. Typically, I would start with archer towers because they have more range. I start with archer towers, but I rotate back and forth with cannons because I try and keep them at the same pace. If you want to choose one or the other, that's fine, but it's a better idea to try and do it evenly. One of the ones you can do is wizard towers. They're more expensive to upgrade, but they also, you know, they're pretty good from start, and they'll get a lot better. So I would say either start with archers or wizards, but try and keep it equal between archers and cannons, at least, if nothing else.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right,
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.